All right, so we're going to go over 5 ways to grow your local foods business with Facebook. I want to say up front, this is based off of a publication that you can download on the Mississippi State Extension website. I'll give you a link to that at the end. So make sure you download it once we get done and read through it for more information. First point we have, you do want to make sure you use high quality images and video. Everything you post on Facebook, you do want to have a visual component. That visual component is going to be what draws everyone's eye into what you're initially saying. If you're just doing text only, it's more likely that you will not draw them in. So it does need to be high quality. People are very visual. We've all heard the term, a picture is worth 1,000 words. The same thing goes here for your picture, for your video or your pictures as well. The other thing, we have very short attention spans. So we need to have part of your story being the visual, to which we can pull in very quickly as opposed to reading text. Also, you have a lot of screen competition. When you go and first log on to Facebook, you see you have your news feed, you have all your shortcuts over on the left, you have the content of your news feed there in the middle, people you follow, pages you follow, as well as ads right there in the middle. Ads on the right, you have your different pages you manage. There's a lot of competition for eyeballs on the screen. With that, a lot of times you may kind of look at something like this with all the different Legos. If you're not standing out, it might be difficult for people to find what you're putting out there for them in Facebook. So we want to make sure we try to stand out with a high quality visual component. There are a lot of good ways to come up with the high quality images using a solution like Canva, Publisher, Adobe Photoshop or Photoshop Express to put those things together. It's okay to go pull stock photos off the internet as long as you have the rights for them. Make sure it's a free image that's available, or you do pay for the stock photo. Lots of others listed in the publication as well for you to go through. Another example, this is a slide I use a lot for kind of showing how we have progressed digitally, but I think it also kind of shows an extreme example, but an example of what the difference in image can do for you. The one on the left is from the 90s. The one on the right is from 2014. So we can get even better than that now, but just think about which one draws your eye more than the other. Another example, think about if you are a customer and it's about the time we're at now, it's about 11 o'clock, you're starting to think about, you know, do I want to go out to eat? Do I want to stay here in the office? What do I want? You know, which one of these images drives you more to want to go visit this pizza restaurant? These are both images you can pull from online that have unlimited use rights, but it's pretty clear that one is going to drive your hunger and you as a customer to want to go to that restaurant more than the other. A little more difficult example, this is a local Mississippi company I've worked with, Southern Stamped Jewelry. These are kind of two different things they do. On the left, you have their keychain just kind of laid out on their table. On the right, you have it laid out on a gun, which is, you know, a chain that talks about deer hunting or duck hunting, as it says. So it kind of has a little more action to it. But the one on the left, you know, it is zoomed in more so you can see a little bit of the detail more. Those are both fine images to use. It's not quite as clear cut, you know, which one is better as we have here. But just think about which one as a customer might drive you more into wanting to purchase that. All right, number 2, you want to target your audience. Who is going to be the audience that wants your product or service? So what problem does your product or service solve? Okay. If we go back to our pizza restaurant from before, the problem would be they're hungry, they want something to eat that tastes good. Your service or product solves that by providing them the pizza to eat. Okay. What audience has this problem that you can reach? Well, if you're a local restaurant, let's say in Starkville, think about who your target around there would be. Is it college kids? Is it faculty or staff from the university? Those are going to be two different kinds of audiences you want to reach, and how do you want to reach them? So let's go. I'm going to step out quick and let's take a look at the Facebook Ad Manager just to kind of give you an idea. We won't go really deep into this, but I want you to have an idea of what you'll see. So when we first come into the Ad Manager, this is the default of what you get. Right now, the ad is going to every person in the United States, okay? If we're a local business, maybe we're better off putting in our location if we're not selling online. So our potential reach here, 230 million people. I'm going to cross that out, and then we are going to add in a new location, Starkville, Mississippi, and just see what that alone does. That takes you Starkville plus 25 miles. That gets you into 100,000 people, down from 230 million. We could extend our range a little bit if we wanted to. Again, it depends on your business. That gets me out to 120,000. I can change by age, gender, language. And then from here, I get into the really detailed targeting. I can go in and browse my demographics, education, financial, anything like that I need to. If you're a high-end product, you're probably not selling to a lot of the college students there. So think about that. Really think about who your audience will be. Let me just pick one on here real quick just to show you what it does. So let's go to education level. Let's say people that have their master's degree. So that gets you from 120,000 to 4,000 people. So you see how you can really target a certain demographic right there in the Facebook tool. All right, let me get back to our All right, so I kind of go back to this. Who is your customer? What is their problem? And how can you solve it? An example of the way to target. I think about with this a mattress store. All right, so just kind of put yourself in that mindset. I'm selling mattresses. Who is my customer? Well, you might say from the beginning, well, everybody would be a customer because everybody sleeps and everybody's going to want a mattress. But we need to go a little bit deeper and think what kind, who is my customer on a more targeted level. Okay, if I'm in Starkville, am I selling $200 mattresses to college students, or am I a Sleep Number store that's selling mattresses for $3,000? Okay, so we need to go a little bit deeper than everybody sleeps, everybody needs a mattress. Well, what kind of mattress are we selling, and who is the customer? What's their problem? If it's a college kid, maybe they want the cheapest thing possible that they can sleep on. If it's the faculty there, they want something more comfortable, not just the cheapest thing off the floor. All right, how do you solve it? Okay, if it's the college kid, you get them the cheapest kind of mattress you can get, sort of thing. So try to really target who your audience is there. Just as an example, okay, so if you're a restaurant and this is what you're selling, who's your target audience? Again, just kind of think about it for a minute. It's going to be very different if you're a store that sells wedding dresses, for instance, okay? So one, if you're a barbecue restaurant, maybe you're targeting most of the people there that like to eat out and like barbecue. Whereas you're selling wedding dresses, you're probably mostly selling to women in their 20s for the most part that are about to get married or engaged and thinking about getting married. Number three, we want to engage with our fans. okay? Make sure you have a clear message. The message needs to be clear because me as a customer, I can't be trying to figure out what you're trying to tell me. So tell it to me in a clear way. Tell it to me visually. Dr. Barnes has talked earlier about telling a story visually so keep engaging. You don't ever want to go on any kind of hiatus and then I come to your Facebook page and you have it posted in a month. You know, then I think, have they closed? What's going on? You know, why aren't they talking to me? So we need to do that constantly, constantly find ways, and that can be difficult. So how do we do that? Kind of just got a few examples here. Number one, share interesting things. If you watched the national championship football game the other day, any Alabama fans, I'm sorry for bringing it up, but Little Debbie had a good tweet after that. It's kind of widely known that Nick Saban is a big fan of Little Debbie, so they posted that they were packing his Little Debbie with extra love the day after that game. Just something interesting. It can be, and this is going to be different based on your location and you know who and what you are. Ask a question. Ask something that's going to drive engagement. You know, we just had Christmas not long ago. Maybe ask people what is their favorite Christmas tradition. Ask them, you know, do they like the movie Christmas Vacation? The big question was, you know, is Die Hard a Christmas movie? Just something to kind of keep people going and get them talking. Be funny. A lot of really good social media accounts really just do a lot on this. We're always going to want to be entertained when we're on social media. We're not going on Facebook to be targeted to, even though that's what happens. We're going to be entertained. So be funny. Discuss a trending topic. You know, we could go back to that the same example of the Little Debbie. The national championship game earlier this week was a trending topic. So that's something people were already talking about. So you can kind of inject your business into that. Have a contest. People like to win stuff. You know, if you can get people to share a post to, you know, win like a $20 item, something like that, it's really not a lot of money out of your pocket, and they're very happy to have participated and, you know, tried to win that item. Also keep it short. We said before, you know, we have short attention spans. When you're posting on Facebook, if the button pops up, read more, or have to click read more to finish what you posted, chances are it's too long. Most people aren't going to read anything that long. If you use Twitter, it's always kind of a good rule of thumb to me to keep it about the length of a tweet. Also discuss a non-controversial topic. The Die Hard, is it a Christmas movie or not? Something like that. I've seen the is a hot dog a sandwich at Halloween. You know, do you eat candy corn? Around Easter time, you know, do you eat Peeps? Something like that that people just kind of like to talk about, but it isn't controversial. Talk about a local event. You know, if you're in the Starkville area, anytime there's a football game, basketball game, baseball game, that's a good local event people want to talk about. Here on the coast, Mardi Gras, sports gambling was a big topic people were talking about here. Any kind of way you can put your business out in there without being real salesy, let's talk about that. Or discuss whatever current holiday you got going on. If you look at, for instance, New Year's, if you look at gyms, Planet Fitness, all the gyms, they always hit New Year's every year because they get that New Year's resolution. People are already in that mindset. So they ask, you know, hey, what's your New Year's resolution? Well, does it include signing up to Planet Fitness or Gold's Gym or wherever you got going on? Number 4, you want to evaluate your engagement. So look at the things you posted, what you've done, what worked, what didn't work. Okay, why did this one work? Why did this one not work? You have your Facebook insights, which we'll look at here in a second. which gives you a pretty good idea of what worked and what didn't. And then you do want to adjust accordingly. So let me back out real quick. We're going to go into our insights. So if I look at my insights, I have a summary from the past 7 days. I can go adjust that and go to 28 days if I want to. But it just kind of gives you some basic stats of what's going on. I've had 138 people view my page. My post reach is 4,500. And then I really want to scroll down and see my individual posts. So I have my 5 most recent here, and I can come to see all posts. And then I can really get a good idea of what post worked and what didn't, okay? Take a second and look through these. Which of these posts worked the most from what you can see? If you look, the one from 12/22/2008 had 6.7K reach. The next one is at 2.9K, so more than double. Had a lot of engagement. So what I need to do is come and click on this and figure out, what was so interesting about that got people talking about it and engaging with it. The worst one, if I can go through 12/08/2018, 499. Why did that only get 500 reach and this one got 6.7 thousand? Why did it get such a low engagement and this one got such a high engagement? So look and get an idea from all of those, what works, what didn't, and why. It can be as simple as posting in an odd time. It can be something as if, you had a bad visual and then people weren't drawn to it, okay? So just look and then see and figure out, or at least get a good idea of what's working and what isn't. So let me get back to my PowerPoint. All right, and then from there, our last point, you want to use your paid ads wisely. Once you do organic posts and then look through them in your insights and see what works and what doesn't, you will have a better idea of how to structure your paid ads. And especially with those, when you're giving Facebook money to put that out, you want to get the maximum ROI on that money. So you want to make sure you have a good idea of what to do. It does need to be visual, like we've talked before. It does need to be targeted. When you think about the target, I go back to the mattress store. Are you targeting the college student that wants something, inexpensive? Are you targeting someone that has extra money and wants, a very nice, soft mattress? Two way different people to target. What is their problem? What's your solution? Okay, give it to them right there within the ad. And then what is your call to action? Your ad needs again, it has to be simple and it needs to have a call to action. Do you want, if you're a restaurant, do you want them to click and then have your menu come up so they can pick what they want before? Do you want them to click and then it takes them to Messenger where they can message a salesperson? Do you want it to go to your, if you cut hair and do that sort of thing, do you want it to go to a booking calendar where they can book their next appointment? Do you want it to go, right to where they call you so you can get them on the phone? This is going to be different based on what kind of business you have, but think about what that call to action needs to be. This is a quote from a local business person here on the coast, and I really like it, so I included it. Have a product that people want and make it easy for them to give you money for it. I have gone through several businesses here where I have wanted their product, and we know, well, first, I think we get trapped in sometimes, well, everybody wants my product. Well, that's not necessarily the case. You have to figure out who does and then target to them. And then the second part, if it's difficult for me to get your product, there's a good chance I'm going to go to somebody else that I can get it to easier. So don't forget that component of it. Finally, I have the link here to the publication. Make sure you go and download that and read through it, which is a deeper look at this. That is going to be case sensitive on the link. So if you write that down. Also, if you have any questions, here's my contact info. If you want to contact me later, we'll also do questions right now if anyone has any. Or if you want to get Dr. Barnes or Lauren's email or anybody else to contact. So let me stop share and go back out and see, and there's the link also there in the chat. So open it up for any questions.
All right, Andy, Leilani Rosenbaum's got a question. It says, hi, Andy, please give us the Y and the high and low on the Crosby Arboretum site. Thanks, Leilani Rosenberg, Shroomdom Incorporated. Let's see if I can copy and paste this into the chat. Can you see that?
I can see the chat. If you can copy and paste it so I can get a better idea of what she's asking. Let's see. Are you talking about the posts, what we were talking about in the insights? Is she still with us?
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm going to assume that's what she's talking about unless I hear.
Yes, please.
Okay. So just kind of with a quick look, the low one was done at 10:55 a.m. The high one was at 3:45. Let me check the visual. So the visual on the low included several small images and a lot of text. So at first glance, that's not going to be very compelling and very interesting and difficult to see. The second one that really worked well had just kind of the bare minimum amount of text, and then also had the anvil there. It's very good imagery, and then you have the guy in there that looks like the blacksmith working on it. So I think imagery was probably the big problem on the low one, and what drew in the most on the big one. I would have to look at, then I would go and look at some of the rest of my insights, and then I would see what times that people follow my page are on Facebook. I'm guessing more people are on in that afternoon than they are, right then before lunch. Probably had a lot to do with it. But the big thing, I think, is the visual component of it. Does that answer your question?
She said, yes, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? All right. I'm going to put my contact information in the chat. If anybody comes up with anything later, you can get with me. Lauren, Dr. Barnes, want to add anything?
And we'll just leave it up for a few more minutes in case anybody has any more questions. And if not, you can email us in the future and we can send you the recording of this presentation. It will be posted. We encourage everyone to download the Facebook PDF, which is kind of a base for this presentation that we've done. We've got 2 attendees left, including Ms. Rosenbaum. So,
okay, yep, I'll hang out for a few minutes.
Log out. Thanks, guys.